Hey guys, I'm James from the Omnic Post with an update on Overwatch 2. The big question for today: should Blizzard bring back loot boxes? Now hold your horses. First, let me add a bit of a personal message. Last week I was eating lunch with a friend and a fellow content creator. I had told him that I reached 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, which was nice because I came from 5,000 at the start of October. And I said to him that I wanted to hit 10k before the end of the year. I reached 10k a few days ago, less than a week after that statement. I still can't believe it. And it's thanks to all of you. The response on my videos has been overwhelming. I want to thank all of you. You guys are awesome. Up next, 50k. Oh god. Now back to the topic. There's a lot that has been said about the monetization for Overwatch 2, and most of it is pretty negative. I did a video last weekend where I tried to do a bit of a balanced take on the whole topic. I'll leave a link up there in case you haven't seen it yet. But in the end, the conclusion is always the same. The way that Blizzard is trying to make money off this game is not balanced. Especially for a game that already has a very solid player base, that is not used to having to fork over so much money to get a skin for the hero that is near and dear to their heart. Although, see, one of the most recurring comments I've seen on all of my platforms and on Reddit for instance, is that they should bring back loot boxes. Every time I see a comment like that, a small part of me dies. Right here. It is the sole reason that I'm bald. So thanks for that, guys. But I do need to make a distinction. There are those that randomly throw in a comment like that as their way to kind of express the fact that they missed the days of old. That they missed getting all the content for free. That they had the chance to pull out a legendary skin out of those loot boxes. Well, now they would have to pay 1900 Overwatch coins for that. And while I do understand the sentiment, let me give you a few reasons why we should not get loot boxes back in Overwatch. Apart from the fact that they're going to be prohibited in due time globally. And all of the business reasons I discussed in last week's video, or the fact that loot boxes are flawed by design. The 100 socks in a drawer example from last week. Remember? Check out the video, you'll get it. But there are even more reasons. Loot boxes are tricksy, just like hobbits. Never mind. See, most people that want loot boxes to come back to Overwatch have been playing this game for at least a few years. We, since I've been playing this game for 6 years too, have a hero gallery that is almost complete. And before the launch of Overwatch 2, most of us had a healthy amount of what we call legacy coins now. And I'll keep referring to them as legacy coins from now on in this video, just to keep it easy. So back in Overwatch 1, when the new event was released, we would play the game, get loot boxes, open them, be disappointed, but still hoping for that skin that we wanted. Now since we already own about 80% of everything that could be in those loot boxes, and since it is an event, the luck on those loot boxes is adjusted by the system, by the game, to make sure that we get a little fewer doubles. But the thing is, we didn't really get an insight on how that system-driven luck actually worked. From my personal experience, I would say that it worked pretty well on the lower tier cosmetics, like sprays, icons, voice lines, but definitely not as much with the legendary skins. And let's be honest, that makes a lot of sense. But it didn't matter anyways, because at the end of the event, that last day, we would just buy any skin that we did not see drop out of the loot boxes with our legacy coins. The thing is, if you hadn't been playing the game for that long, well, first off, that luck adjustment would probably not kick in that hard. And second, you would not have the coins to buy those skins. At which point, the OG Overwatch players yell, "Well, of course you're Sully Viking. We have been stocking up those coins for years." To which I say, indeed, you did. For years. So every time you spent 3000 legacy coins on a skin, it might have felt like free currency. But either you had been working for that currency for weeks, maybe even months, or you spent a ton of money on buying loot boxes. Let me do some quick math. I hate math. But anyways, when they automatically opened my loot boxes just before the release, I had about like 800, and that resulted in 40,000 legacy coins. Somewhere around that neighborhood. Which matches up with the stats that I've been reading, that on average you get about 30 to 50 coins per loot box. Remember, I said on average, so not every loot box give you coins, but others did give you a little more. In other words, for those 3000 coins that you needed for that skin, you had opened and went through the disappointment of about 60 to 100 loot boxes. That, my friends, is a lot of work. A lot of time that you've been playing that game. And sure, you had the odd chance that that legendary that you wanted, that it would drop out of the loot boxes. But that's just a matter of luck. Now if you bought those loot boxes, that on average would have set you back $75 for 3000 legacy coins for one skin. See what I'm going with this? Loot boxes are just as tricky as lotteries. They could turn out for a really small group of people, but the rest of us are just living on hopium. Until in the end we defeat the odds by playing the game for years. And look, I'm not saying that I want to get loot boxes banned everywhere. I personally think that adults really important here, should be able to spend their money the way they want to, as long as they don't hurt anybody. And I'm definitely not saying that the current system is better. Hannah, my co-host on the Omnic Weekly, our podcast, calculated that you have to complete your weekly challenges for 32 weeks to get a legendary skin. Oh damn. I think that the issue here, apart from the prizes, is that there's no way to play the odds anymore. Or that you can't stack any free currency. There is almost no reward for loyal players in Overwatch 2. But that doesn't mean that we need to get loot boxes back. Watch out what you wish for, seriously. Now that being said, I do think that there are some scenarios in which loot boxes could work to spice up the battle pass, for instance. But they need to be very careful about the way they implement stuff like that. I mean, I've said it before, I'm not a legal expert. So I don't know if, for instance, getting a loot box every few tiers in a premium battle pass would be considered as problematic as just buying the loot boxes. Because you buy the premium pass, but you kind of play the game to get the loot boxes. I swear, I'm going to go cross-eyed if I keep thinking about stuff like that. I just think that it could be a nice vehicle for a bit of a surprise element in Overwatch 2, especially during events. But I don't think that Blizzard is going to bring back loot boxes in any shape or form. But that is something for a future video. Now tell me, do you still want loot boxes to come back? And how lucky were you with the loot boxes back in Overwatch 1? Cheeky. Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesTV and make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.